guys, how you doing? It's Oscar. I'm going to do a kind of a new in the den shave of the day recap, first thoughts on a couple of things, combination video. So here we go. Real quick, I just finished shaving a couple minutes ago. It was a good shave, not the best, but very, very, very good. The one thing, and this is the one thing that would kind of bring it down a little bit was, again, opinion, of course, after a couple uses. At the last Riverside meetup, buddy Abraham Viella lent me this Razor Rock Baby Smooth. If you're familiar with it, you know what it's about. If you're not familiar with it, it's an aluminum razor. It's obviously solid black, so it's very light because of the aluminum. But from what I read, it's supposed to be kind of a more of a newer shaver, sensitive skin, everyday shaver type of razor. The reason I say that is because and it says in the description, is going to be very mild, and whatever I've heard about it and read about it, even videos, attest to the fact that it's pretty mild. So, and if you've been following me, you know I'm still kind of working up my way towards more aggressive things. This was too mild for me, even. What I noticed right away was, first of all, it's a lot more, the curvature of the head is a lot more pronounced, obviously. So if you compare it to, let's say, the Phoenix, you see the curvature of the top head is a lot more pronounced on the Baby Smooth. What I see with that is it makes it a lot easier to find your angle. You basically just have to put it to your face and kind of a minor tilt and then go. Whereas with a standard, more of a standard razor, you line it up and then you find your angle. It's a little bit more pronounced and then you start to go. Whereas, like I said, with this one, the angle is basically already set for you because the blade is so curved by the time you tighten down the head. So it could be more user friendly in that sense, but it's very, very mild in that you see the blade exposure there, and then but the blade gap is where the difference is. The blade gap, you can kind of see it. The blade gap being the gap between the bar of the base plate and the blade itself. So that's gonna make it pretty mild. Blade exposure is actually kind of, well, it's less than average, I would say, but the blade gap is kind of more where the aggressiveness comes in, I think. So, and it's still light, it's easy to maneuver, it's not super long, it is longer than the Phoenix, but the Phoenix is kind of on the shorter side anyway. If I compare it more, let's say, to the Rockwell, the length is pretty similar, if not the same. And then again, you see a standard head, the curvature of the top cap versus the curvature of the head on this one. So it is very mild, which what I didn't like is it left a lot of work to be done as far as kind of touch-ups and buffing. So I really had to put in a little bit more time to get the efficiency and the Baby Smooth shave that I'm always after. And but other than that, I like it. I appreciate Abraham blending it to me, but I don't know that I would ever. I use it for a couple shaves, so I just to be sure, and I don't know that I would use it personally. But again, if you have a lot of sensitive skin and you have to be an everyday shaver, then this could be more up your alley. So personally, my opinion, for me, it was okay. It was just okay. So just keep that in mind. All right. So another part of my shave was ANUBIS from Local Gent. Rob, I talked to Rob and Jennifer at the last Riverside meetup, and they were telling me the ingredients, man. This is a lather and slickness monster. Let me read the ingredients to you. You'll probably understand why. The ingredients in order: goat milk, coconut oil, avocado oil, shea butter, tallow, stearic acid, glycerin, vegetable glycerin, potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, Dead Sea clay, and fragrance oils. And it even says on the bottom, best when bloomed. So, let that not be part of the blooming controversy. It says it right there, bloom it. So, and I did. The scent is fantastic. It's different, but they're touting it as the latherability and the slickness because I believe it's the only soap that has goat's milk and tallow in it. So there is your latherability with the goat's milk and then the slickness with the tallow. So and then the shea butter and stuff. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome straight across the board. And just to touch on the packaging, vinyl labels and side labels. I know there's kind of a little debate about that, but there's extra effort and I'm sure extra expense for these. But you know, if you have 40 soaps or 30 that are all stacked up, that definitely makes a difference. So something to think about. But the it's just the performance was fantastic. It's the second time I've used it, and both shaves, like I said, except for unfortunately the razor here that I wasn't too crazy about. Other than that, it was a fantastic shave. So again, it's a home run on the Anubis, Rob. So good job. And finally, the pièce de résistance for this shave was, and I attached a couple, mini videos to the front of this one to try to get perspective on it, is the Wolf Whiskers. This is my first Wolf Whiskers brush, and it's amazing. I finally got it, worked my way up, and he actually, I gotta say, Peter Wolf did something very generous in that he put it out that if you don't have any of my brushes, let me know. He called it his newbie list, and that's how kind of I was able to get into it. So that opportunity, I was always on the fence because I knew the wait list. I knew that it was a big, long process, and I was a little reluctant. But when that window became open, I just jumped right through it. So so I did research, and I know, Peter Wolf's brushes are, the demand is just amazing, and unfortunately, there's been this stuff with people flipping them on eBay for these exorbitant amounts, and there's always debate on that. You can free market, if somebody's going to pay for it, then by all means. But there's kind of there's kind of an unscrupulousness to me, in my opinion, to that. But that's a debate for, I'm not going to, first of all, I'm never going to get rid of this. Secondly, I don't know, if you can get $300 on eBay for it, are you going to do it? Are you going to try? I don't know. And in speaking with with some artisans and stuff, they're not crazy about people doing that with their products, but I don't know. It's it's teach their own, I suppose. But the order process for the Wolf Whiskers brushes, he sends you an order form once your time comes up, and you go to his website. He has 20 something different shapes and stuff you can choose from, and color combinations. You look at his gallery. It was kind of mind boggling, but this is and in the pictures you'll see it better. This is called Black Cherry Ice here. It's a really deep and dark red, a really deep and dark wine color, and the upper part is a white pearl. Now I was on the fence with about 4 or 5 different shapes, and then the knot. I'll talk about the knot in a minute. But I was on the fence, and I couldn't. So I looked back at some videos of what people have had and what they've ordered to try to get some inspiration, and I saw this is the 1301 shape, and I know like when David ordered his from Peter, he was able to actually almost do a combination of two. I think he did a 1301 bottom, and I think a Becky top. If you look at Peter Wolf's shape catalog, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I liked that combination, but I didn't like it. I liked it, but there was something I wasn't quite crazy about. And then in looking at the gallery, the color gallery, there was one in his gallery called a Miguel, which was basically the same. It was white pearl upper, and the bottom was black and silver, kind of a black with silver kind of inclusions and swirls and stuff. And I really liked that, but the actual color that really I kept coming back to was in the very first. If you look at his gallery, you scroll from left to right. The very first two are Black Cherry Ice, and I really like that. And I was on the fence with that one and a different one that was a little bit more red. But this one, I just kept coming back to it. And once I kind of figured it all out, what shape I wanted, and I kind of imagined in my head what it would look like, I jumped off and I asked for the 1301 shape. I was on, and then the 1301, but then there was also one that had, it was called a BWW3 top, which has basically almost a beehive pattern on this part, which has lines that go all the way around. But when I decided to do the pearl here, I didn't want those ridges. I just wanted smoothness here. Those ridges would have kind of broken it up a little bit, and I think it would have taken away from the swirl and really the beauty of the pearl here. The lighting here kind of sucks, but this, you have to see it in person. The pictures that I posted that Peter had sent me, he has really good lighting set up, and the pictures made the red look a little bit lighter. But when I got it, the red was a lot deeper and a lot more rich, I would say. It was just really, really just, I don't know, I don't even know what to say, but the red was just so much more just deep and really nice looking. And on the little mini videos I attached, one of them was with the camera phone with the flash and one was without. I believe the first one was without, but the second one was with the flash. And with that one, you could really see the silver inclusion and inlays in there. That one's kind of, yeah, that looks kind of good. But in person, the red is actually deeper than it looks right now with the lights. So it was just beautiful. The combination with the white pearl and the red is just beautiful. And then the knot, he has a ton of knots you can choose from as well. I kind of knew already that I was going to want the black wolf knot with the white tips. It's a synthetic. But if you look at his knots, on his webpage, there's a tab that says knots, and he talks about all the knots he has and all and descriptions of them all, and pictures as well. You know, when you have your gut feeling about what you want, you still want to do research on all the other stuff, so that one of two things is going to happen. You either decide you want something else, or it's going to reaffirm your initial decision to get what you first thought about. And that's what happened here. He calls this a fan knot, and then somebody commented when I posted about the brush that it looks more like a bulb. Well, it's kind of I heard David say it's a hybrid. It's more of a hybrid, because the bulb knot, for example, on, let's say, the Game Changer, that is a bulb knot, right? It's a lot more kind of pronounced bulb with a roundness, and this is kind of a more in between, you know, like a hybrid, a fan bulb kind of a knot. So, and the tips, softest tips I've ever, the Game Changer is awesome, but this right out of the box, I mean, the tips on it are amazing. But I was reading about the Black Wolf knot, and what I noticed, and then I looked back at the Game Changer, I noticed the same thing. The lathering with a knot like this is going to be really, really easy. And even whether you do it right in the jar, or if you bowl, because the bristles, and you'd have to really look closely, you can kind of see the bristles, if you can see that, are wavy. They're not straight. I'm pointing to these bristles here, if you can see. The bristles are kind of wavy, and that is supposed to help with the lathering. I never knew that, and then if you look kind of closely, it won't really pick it up. But you can see the waviness of the bristles. It's not just a straight hair. It's kind of a waviness to it, and that is supposed to help in the lathering and with the building up of the lather and stuff. And so I came back and I looked at the Game Changer, and I noticed, you won't be able to see, but if you have the Game Changer, you can tell. But yeah, you can. But these synthetics, these ones are wavy as well. So that, you know, could explain as to why it's so easy to lather with synthetics. You know, maybe versus some of the animal hair. But anyway, I just noticed that in doing the research, and that's something that I never would have thought about. So, you know, one of those things when you look into, you know, buying something, you know, do your research. Like I said, you'll either find something else that you had no idea existed, or it'll reaffirm your initial, you know, what you wanted first. So that's what happened. I was really excited to, you know, to finally get this and to post it. And he has a ton of knot options and you know, different, I mean, thousands of combinations if you figure different colors and shapes that you can figure out. But again, this is the 1301 pearl white black cherry ice bottom. The coin, obviously. The presentation was amazing. I mean, you know, he has the you know, the green embossed logo on the box. You know, it comes in, you know, with some grass, kind of confetti bed in the box. And he gives you a whole sheet on how to care for the brush and stuff like that. But this was, you know, kind of an extra little touch. I mean, most people will do it. Most small vendors will do it. But it's a little thank you card. And it says, Oscar, thank you for your trust in my work. So, there you go. So that was that. That was my shave of the day, plus my my raving about my brush, my new brush. So this is fantastic, stellar work. If you can get on the waiting list, it's definitely worth the wait. And even if you can get some, you know, secondary market, people are selling on the enabler stuff. You'll be able to appreciate Peter's work. But there's something about getting one that, you know, that you imagined and you put together, and then seeing the final product. This is way, way better than I could have ever imagined. So there you go. Great shave, local gent Anubis. Check it out. It's a lather beast, and the slickness and the performance is amazing. And then when you use it with a masterpiece like this, you really can't go wrong. So Big Shave West, man, it's about, I want to say it's 6 weeks away. So it's creeping up. So you haven't ordered your swag bags, order up. Made your reservations to stay for the weekend, do that. And look forward to seeing everybody there. All right, peace. Be well.